And welcome back to another episode of Blood Feud Radio. This is me. I'm Matt. Of course, as always, each week I am joined by Rhys.
Oh, what's going on?
So, we're briefly going to run down what we are. First, we're going to run down our opinions on what happened on Raw last night. And then we're going to dive into a very juicy top 20.
Hell
Top
yeah.
20 most influential wrestlers from the 1990s. So let's start off by Raw. Just briefly running over what happened yesterday afternoon on Monday Night Raw. What you got?
So as everyone knows, we're obviously talking about Braun Breaker turning on Seth Rollins and then Bronson Reed making his decision. Tsunami. He also turns on Seth Rollins. Right, okay. I was excited at first. I was hyped. I was like, oh my God, what the hell? And then I had a bit of time to sit with it, think about it, and then I made a video about it. And I don't like it. And the reason why I don't like it is because it feels very rushed. It feels a bit too soon. Granted, I've heard rumors that it's because Seth Rollins has injured his arm, possibly. But for me, I don't think you need to break up a faction just because someone has an injury. That's the whole point of a faction. Like, they carry each other, right? So it feels like a bit of a rush job. Like, either you are breaking these guys up before War Games, or you try to get it wrapped up before Rumble season, which just feels like a waste of time. These guys have been together for 6 months. They're only just starting to establish themselves individually in the faction. Braun Breaker is definitely WWE's idea of the future. Bronson Reed has only just had his victory over Roman Reigns. I think he's going to get lost in the shuffle here. He's following Braun Breaker now for some reason, when it should have really just been Seth Rollins slowly builds these guys up. Him getting an injury works in their favor because you could tell the story of, we're here, this guy's not even on the show, we're carrying all the weight. Why do we need him again? You know? So I don't really understand why they've like jumped to this all of a sudden. I don't understand. Like, what do you think?
Well, I don't mind it. I think I'm in the ship of, we know Seth Rollins is going to be hurt, or he's hurt, and potentially missing Mania even. So it's just, to me, it's the right decision to make, because we don't want the guy to be off television or just not part of the faction for another 6-7 months. You know, like if it sucks that he got hurt, because it does hinder the storyline. But my twist is, just maybe, CM Punk was behind the whole thing.
So you think they could work in the story that CM Punk has orchestrated Braun and Bronson to turn on him?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I could see that. There is.
I would love for them to twist it like that. I think it would be a lot of fun, and I think heel Punk would be amazing.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of teased it at Australia, where they were talking about maybe Cody Rhodes is the guy if he's able to beat Seth. Punk could very easily slot into there. Former friends with Paul Heyman. I mean, they'd have to do a bit of working around like what happened at Mania, but they could make it work. I just think that there is a get out of jail free card here that we're currently talking about. Get a new leader for this faction. Braun Breaker's excuse could be, well, this guy got hurt. He's not going to be here. He ain't here to teach me shit. So I don't really see the need to keep him around. Gets another guy in to teach him the ropes. But WWE needs to be on point of how they write this, because 6 months of storylines and 6 months of building up could very easily go down the drain.
Yeah.
I just think that I just think that the trigger has been pulled too early, maybe out of their control. There's certain ways you can go about to fix this, but it needs to be soon. It needs to make sense, and there needs to be some continuity to it.
Well, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Just like we'll see what the top 20 are in our next.
Segment. Nice little transition there. I like that. That was very smooth. Very, very good, Mick Foley. For the cheap pop.
So we're gonna just fast forward this list to the top 20.
Mm-hmm.
Top 20 most influential wrestlers in the 1990s.
Because it's 38. You just puts 38. What sort of a number is that? It's either 40 or 30.
I misquoted. There was more than 38 here.
Oh, forget that. Well, what's it going to be? Top 1,000 most influential.
Top there. I mean, tell me number 48. There's 48 of them on here.
Number 1,000. Kurgan.
Well, number 48. This is how. I'll say 48. I'll say the very bottom, and then we'll get to the top 20.
Yeah.
48 is Jeff Hardy. Great place for him. Love it. I love the placement for Jeff Hardy. Screw that guy. Anyway.
I think they put Jeff Hardy there because very late 90s that they came in, wasn't it? So I suppose so. I guess. But I digress. This is why we do top 20s, because we just avoid ridiculous names at ridiculous positions.
Number 20.
Mm-hmm.
Had a cup of coffee in the big time. Macho Man Randy Savage at 20.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think you really associate Randy Savage more with the 80s. I understand he was around in the 90s, more in WCW. But yeah,
he was more commentary, wasn't he? Like, he was more. Yeah. Granted, I guess in 90s, he main evented WrestleMania 8. So that was
98. Oh yeah, that was 92. Yeah. I can see why they've put him there, but it's like what I've just said. Then, like when I think of Randy Savage, he's an 80s guy for me. I associate him with the 80s, but he did make his mark on the 90s, like the stuff that he did with the NWO, WrestleMania 7, WrestleMania 8. He had his moments. I always forget that he had like his last Mania match at WrestleMania 10.
So next up, number 19 on the list is, hold on. The Ultimate Warrior.
The Ultimate Warrior. Influential. I wouldn't even class Ultimate Warrior as influential. I really wouldn't. I think he was an icon of the business. But how many wrestlers have you ever heard say, I was influenced by the Ultimate Warrior? Like, he had adrenaline, he had, energy. But like influential? No, I don't agree with that. What do you think of that?
I honestly would put I would consider Jeff Hardy, as much as I shit on Jeff Hardy, I would say Jeff Hardy's more influential than the Ultimate Warrior.
100%. And it's like I say, like he had his moments at your SummerSlams, at your Manias.
I
Are
mean,
we
he's
even
had
going to?
classic matches. I don't think he's
Yeah, I
influential.
agree. I just, yeah, no, not influential whatsoever. I think they've just put him in here for putting him in sake.
Number 18. This one's not. I'm okay with this placement.
Uh,
Jushin Thunder Liger.
Yeah, I mean, there's even an argument to be made where he should be lower on this list.
He could be in the top 10 easily.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like for me, he's in my top 5 luchadors. If you want to call him a luchador, of all time, or like mask wearing wrestlers. Let's just put it at that. I love Jushin Thunder Liger, and the fact that he was able to carry his career onto the 2000s, the 2010s, you know, just shows his longevity. His style isn't really usually based on a guy who can go for that long, but Jushin was so good, man, and that look was iconic, and yeah, 100% influential to the people that came after him.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I would say Cody puts says top 5.
Of any wrestler or match wrestlers.
I mean, he definitely. I the only other guy that I would. There's 3 guys when I think masked wrestlers and luchadors is Ray, Ultimo Dragon, and Juice and Thunder Liger. Those are my 3 that I
Yeah,
immediately gravitate to, and those were the 3 that I thought were arguably the 3 best luchadors of the modern era, like of the 90s and today.
Hayabusa was great as well. I love Hayabusa.
So
He was
number
he was dope.
number 17.
Mm.
This one I could be a good placement. He hails from Battle Creek, Michigan. He is Rob Van Dam.
RVD, yeah. I think he should be top 10 personally. There are a lot of high flyers out there. There are a lot of just people who owe their style of character to RVD. They have said like they drew a lot of influence, like his easygoing style. RVD, 100%. RVD belongs in the top 20. Like I say, should probably be like in the top 10. But without a
I
shadow of a doubt, RVD and ECW, like would ECW be as well known if it wasn't for RVD? I mean, I know you had Taz and Sabu, but RVD was the face of that company for the most part.
see. I would have no problem putting him in the top 5 ECW guys of all time, like
Yeah, exactly.
easily. I would put him just on the outside of the top 10 and most influential.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
I like him, but there's just like he came along to WWE as I was like kind of like moving away from it for the time being, so I didn't really see his whole body of work. So it was kind of a disconnect with me with him. Don't get me wrong, hell of a spinning heel kick, fucking best, arguably the best 5-star frog splash ever. Yeah, you can come at me with that whole Eddie stuff. I think him and Eddie are one A and 1B as far as the frog splash.
I agree with that. Yeah.
And I don't know. It to me it's a hold on. It just RVD is without question a top like 15 top. Like he deserves to be there. Yes, absolutely.
For me, growing up as a noughties wrestling fan, and it's like I said, I think I've said on this podcast, WrestleMania 22 was my first pay-per-view. RVD was very much so in the forefront of my introduction to wrestling, because obviously that year he won Money in the Bank. Then I happened to stumble across the one night stand of that year where he won the WWE Championship. who the hell is this guy wearing 2 belts? He had a great theme song. One of the very first games that I bought for a PlayStation when I was younger was SmackDown versus Raw 2006. He was a very big part of that as well. So maybe I'm a bit biased when it comes to RVD, but yeah, I think he does belong there.
Now, the next person, I don't know him because he was from New Japan.
Okay.
And I don't even know how to pronounce his name. And I don't want to give him a disservice.
Give it a go. Give it a go.
Shinya Hashimoto.
Oh, yeah, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. Shinya Hashimoto. I only know him by name. I've not really seen much of his work, but I do know a lot of people who, practice strong style, who come over from Japan. Do credit him as a big influence. There's a few wrestlers from the 90s from Japan who are very frequently mentioned by people like your Nakamura's, your AJ Styles, your Ballas, people like that who quote Hashimoto. So, like I said, I've not seen much of his work, but I only really know him by name. But I think that says more than anything I could ever say itself. The fact that I've heard him off other wrestlers just suggests that he is pretty well influential.
It just in his notes about him, he was the IWGP heavyweight champion, and he defended it several times against Ric Flair.
Right. Okay.
So, I mean, if he had good matches with Ric Flair, then yeah,
fine. That's a good start.
Yeah. Ric Flair is okay. I mean,
he's alright. He's alright.
Next up, number 15. We're in the top 15 now. Arguably one of the greatest luchadors of all time, Rey Mysterio.
Yes. Yes. I don't even know what else to say. Top 15, 100%. I wouldn't argue with you if you decided to put him in the top 10. I wouldn't argue with you if you put him in the top 5. Rey Mysterio is definitely deserves on this list. Multiple-time cruiserweight champion in WCW. One of the most recognizable masks. Women, men cite him as an influence to their style. He's just probably the most babyface of all time.
Yeah, he's never had a freaking heel turn.
Literally the only time he had a heel turn, he took his mask off, and look how that went. It was terrible. Like no one talked about it.
What are they? That was WCW in the 2000s, wasn't it? Like
yeah. So Rey Mysterio. People who aren't even wrestling fans know who Rey Mysterio is. He's very influential. Booyaka, booyaka.
Yeah. I mean, you're hitting the nail on every. God damn it! I keep trying to exit off. Get back to where I was.
It's like what you said even before we got to his name. Before, like you named 3 of your favorite luchadors. He was one of them. So
yeah. Number 14. A lot of people put this gentleman as their number 1, like the greatest of all time. It's the Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Woo!
Greatest chop of all time. Greatest chop of all time.
Greatest. See, so this is weird.
I would be willing to say he's the greatest, one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time. He was a professional wrestler. He wasn't a sports entertainer. If that makes any sense, in my opinion.
Do you know what? Prime Ric Flair was the total package.
Yeah.
He really was. Prime Ric Flair, he could go in the ring. He had classic matches with what it sounds like in Japan. He had classic matches with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. He had that great rivalry heading into WrestleMania 8 with Randy Savage. I can't imagine a wrestling world without Ric Flair. He was in two of the greatest factions of all time in Evolution and the Four Horsemen. 16-time world heavyweight champion. That when someone does a chop these days, like, you know, what do you hear? Woo! You know, you can't get any more influential than that. Ric Flair is top 3.
He is great on the mic. His promos are next to none. Great in ring. He can do comedy shit when he needs to.
Yeah,
Like the whole flop thing. I bust. Like I pop when he flops.
so funny. It's so funny.
Amazing. Like you can hit him with a steel chair, he'll walk halfway across the goddamn ring and then
It's so
over.
good.
It's amazing. I think
It's
this
so
is
good.
doing Ric Flair a disservice at 14. I think he needs to be in the top 5.
I agree. I 100% agree. Like, I would even say top 5 in the 80s and the 90s. You know, if there was an influential list in the 80s, he didn't lose a step in the 90s. He was still just as good in WWE and in WCW.
Well, you talked about his programs with Macho Man, with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. His long-term program that he had with Dusty, freaking classic.
Mm-hmm. Hard times, biggie.
Next up, 13 is arguably the greatest character that Vince McMahon ever created, and that is The Undertaker.
Do you know what? I thought he was going to say himself then for a moment. Because that wouldn't be wrong. The Undertaker, yeah. Again, Undertaker should.
To me, for me, it's the character. His in-ring work wasn't, you know, like he gave us moments like in the Who's Your Dome, ba da 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 da.
Undertaker didn't get good in the ring. I mean, like, you know, like putting on classic matches. If I'm honest, until he became the American Badass, because even in the Attitude Era, he got faster when he was in the Ministry, but he wasn't putting on 5-star classics, you know. Like, you know, you had the First Blood match with Austin. You had that match at WrestleMania 14 with Kane, but yeah, like in the ring, nothing, you know, wasn't to be desired. Character, just statement. He laid the foundation for a whole other character in Kane. Part of one of the most notable factions of the 90s in the Ministry. The fact that he was able to survive multiple generations of the company changing its style. The Undertaker is he's a statement. That's all I can say about wrestling. He's a statement, and he should be in the top 5.
I mean, I would be okay with putting him in the top 10. As far as influential, I don't know. There's only like 1 or 2 other people that would be put in the same category as him. And one of them's Bray Wyatt, obviously. You know, like he's the only one that could really be put into that phenom that like almost like a sci-fi, not a sci-fi, but a horror film kind of vibe. He's the only, Bray's actually the only guy that would be, I could say would be compared to The Undertaker.
That's true. Do you know what though? I would say more of behind the scenes influential. I think he was there to give a lot of advice to people, training wise. Apparently, he's in the performance center quite a lot. I think all around influential, like backstage, like the presence that he was as like the locker room leader.
Sure.
Yeah, I think he does belong in the top 10. But like I say, me personally, top 5. But I wouldn't be mad if someone put him in, you know, like 10 to 6.
Next up on number 12, this person just needs to go away. I don't find this guy at all influential, and it's Bill Goldberg.
I don't really know what influence he had on professional wrestling apart from Ryback. But yeah, I don't really get it. Like, yeah, I mean, yeah, he had that undefeated streak, but there was a few people who had an undefeated streak. Tatanka was undefeated for a year. You know, are we putting him as influential?
Jade Cargill, are we? You know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't agree with that. Like, no, I'm not gonna waste my time with Goldberg. I don't respect him enough as a wrestler. No, take him out of the top 20. That's all I'm gonna say.
Here's where I'm at right now. I would put Jeff Hardy ahead of him.
And I would agree with you.
Goldberg shouldn't be in the top. Oh yeah. Anyway,
moving
along. Number 11, our first female entrant in the top 20.
Okay.
Define the women's wrestling in the Attitude Era. This is what the Sportster says, and it is China, the eighth wonder, or the ninth wonder, rather.
Yeah, yeah. What can you say about China? First woman to be in a Royal Rumble. First woman. I can't remember if this was late 99 or 2000. But I'm going to count anyway. First woman to win an Intercontinental Championship. Part of one of the best factions of all time. Literally set the standard for your big, strong women to come later on, like your Rhea Ripley's, your Raquel Rodriguez, your Beth Phoenix. You know, what Nia Jax. What is there else to say about China? Totally 100% influential. And shame on WWE for trying to tarnish her reputation in the early noughties. Refusing to speak about her for so long. In my opinion, contributed to her mental health downfall. I think that was a big part of it. She 100% deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. She is maybe the most iconic woman in wrestling history.
She walked, and again, love her or hate her. I might catch a little bit of heat with this, from some of the other guys that watched this. Without China, we wouldn't have seen Tessa Blanchard do what she did in TNA.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And I don't agree with I don't agree with the behind the scenes and what Tessa did. Like, whatever, like, her reputation isn't a good one. I don't agree with what she did or said to those young ladies in the back, and look, the whole bullying thing, and just being a despicable person. I'm talking in-ring work.
Yeah.
If China walked so these other women can run.
Do you know what? I would go a step further than that. I think China fucking ran so these girls could do marathons, dude. Like, the shit she was doing in the 90s, so broke down barriers. And some of the stuff that she was doing in the 90s, people still don't do now. Like, you've not seen it since. When's the last time a woman, apart from her and Jacqueline, has a woman ever won a men's title in WWE?
No.
Never. Like, she broke down barriers that WWE now face to tread and just doesn't choose to do it. So, undeniably influential. Yes, I agree with that. Definitely.
So that's number 11. Hold on, where's...
Oh, we're going into the top 10 now. This is going to get interesting.
Number 10. The excellence of execution. The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever is going to be. Hart is Bret Hart, and this is their lead into this one. Hart is considered the best in-ring performer of the 1990s.
It's hard to disagree with that. And
I think he's the second best Hart.
Oh yeah,
But
you love Owen, don't you? Yeah,
I
you love
love
Owen.
I love Owen.
Yeah, and I can't argue with that point. And to be honest, like it's like what you were saying, like Frog Splash before. If you talk about in-ring technician, for me, like if Brett's 1A, Owen's 1B, and the other way around, like you can't. Both of them are fantastic, absolutely fantastic in their own way. And Brett not only was one of the most technical wrestlers of all time. You ask any technical wrestler in the noughties, the 2010s, and the 2020s, who's your greatest influence? I guarantee you the first three names, Bret Hart's going to be in there.
you'll
Definitely.
see. I think you would be Brett, Dean Malenko, and
Probably Kurt.
yeah,
And
those are the top three most technical wrestlers, I think.
yeah, 100%. And I mean, even when you consider his family, I mean, Natalia's still making money off the Hart name because of the like the Hart name won't be as big without Bret Hart. It just wouldn't. Um,
One of the
he
greatest
was
tag team. I mean, he's one of the greatest tag artists as well. Like him and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, freaking amazing. The Hart Foundation was awesome.
without a shadow of a doubt, and just my opinion as well. He was proof, and he was probably one of the first to do it in WWE. Maybe you count Macho Man as another guy, but he was a big guy, Macho Man. Bret Hart was proof that a smaller guy can lead a company.
Yeah.
After your Hogans, your Savages, your Warriors, you had Bret Hart. Obviously, after the steroid trial, they wanted someone who can carry the company. You had Bret. Bret could do it. Bret had the charisma. He had the style. I know people are going to go, what? When you talk about charisma when it comes to Bret Hart. But I think he was very underrated on the microphone, especially when he became a heel. So y'all can come at me about that.
Number 9. Another one of the greatest luchadors ever, if not the greatest luchador, the most decorated luchador of all time, Ultimo Dragon. At 9.
Again, you said this before. Ultimo Dragon. What is it to say about Ultimo Dragon? Like, yeah, they literally just said it there in Sportster. Top three, definitely one of the most influential. Got done very dirty in WWE. I think they could have done a lot better with him when he came over for the cruiserweight division. Ultimo Dragon in Japan, in WCW, all over the world. Just such an innovator. His look was iconic. You've got men and women across the world in the ring who are a little bit smaller, who are a bit more into their lucha style. Claim Ultimo Dragon, definitely.
Now, this is 100% satire, so don't come at me for this, because without Ultimo Dragon, we do not have Mercedes Moné, the belt collector.
Yeah, like he did it first. He did it first. And that's respect.
But yeah, Ultimo Dragon will go down. His placement at 9, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the placement at 9.
Yeah, I think that's a comfortable spot for him.
Number 8. This one's okay with it. The Icon, Sting.
Sting's a. I don't.
The only reason I'm okay with it because he did lead, and he was the man in WCW for such a long period of time. And
he was.
I honestly think without him, the NWO doesn't work.
I agree with that, especially prime NWO. But I'm gonna say this to you. I'm gonna compare Sting to another person who was mentioned on this list before, Ultimate Warrior. Like Sting was an icon. Is literally his nickname. Not really. Can't really think of any names who he's influenced. You know, like maybe backstage, like the Undertaker, like what I was saying before. But I really don't see his work kind of like passed on through the generations, like because he's always been there. So I don't know. Maybe I'm being a bit ignorant there, but I see Sting more as a staple of wrestling than an influence.
Okay, that's fair.
That's just me.
Number 7, a hardcore icon. He he's so talented. He had to have 3 characters in WWE. It is Mick Foley at 7.
Yeah.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice day, dude. And you know what? I think there should be an argument here to be. I would put Mick Foley in the top 3. I really would. If you're talking influence and the 1990s, who else is there? You've got Mick Foley is literally the blueprint of a hardcore, willing to put his body on the line wrestler. Mick Foley is that guy. He not just the matches he was in. I haven't even mentioned them. The Hell in a Cell matches that he was in, the hardcore death matches that he was in. His characters alone, his different personalities, inspired other personalities in wrestling.
Oh, absolutely.
His promo work. People have tried and failed over the years to do as good as promos, to do the style of promos that Mick Foley did. I would put Mick Foley as I would even put him as number 1 or number 2. I'm not even going to lie.
That's fair. I mean, just without, and again, without Mick, you might not see the meteoric rise of The Rock.
Correct.
Like, the stuff that he was doing with Dwayne, the stuff that he did in when he went when it was ECW, where he stopped doing all the extreme stuff and just started mat wrestling. It was stuff like that is just he turned what we knew as professional wrestling and turned it on its ear. You know what I mean? Like he changed. Not to I don't want to use Rowdy Piper, a quote from him, but just when you thought you had the answers, I changed the questions. That's what Mick did.
He did, and without Mick Foley, a lot of wrestlers in the 90s wouldn't have things to do, dude. Like without that feud with Mankind, what would the Undertaker be doing in 95, 96? Not much of anything. Mick Foley was one of Steve Austin's first opponents when he became Stone Cold, when he was Dude Love. When he had that tag team with Kane, didn't last very long, but it gave Kane something to do that bordered between a storyline and a storyline. The point that I'm trying to make is Mick Foley, if you put him across the ring from anybody, you've got a storyline. You've got a great set of matches there. He filled a spot. Without Mick Foley, you don't have one of the most iconic moments in Raw history when he wins the WWF title.
I love the series of matches with it was Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie and the New Age Outlaws.
Yes.
That program was amazing. It's one of my favorite. Those 4 men just worked amazing together. I mean,
they really did. They're a massive influence there. Like Chainsaw Charlie and Mick Foley, like the New Age Outlaws might have flopped if you'd have put them next to anyone else. They were like the proving ground for the New Age Outlaws.
So before we move on to the next one, what was your favorite face of Foley? Like, what was your?
That's a good question, man. I want to say Mankind.
Okay.
White shirt Mankind. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm partial to a bit of Dude Love, I just think it makes me laugh and it makes me smile whenever I see it. But it has to be Mankind. What's yours?
Big Bang. I love
Yeah,
Cactus Jack.
yeah.
Just his. I don't know. Just something about Cactus Jack. It was the first guy that was like, all right, this guy is fucking nuts, and I want to see more of it.
Yeah, I agree. Like the first guy to like proper do hardcore wrestling, but also could go in the ring if he wanted to.
Yeah. Next up, we
No,
have at number 6, and I'm 100% okay with this placement. It is the Great Muta.
yeah, yeah, 100%.
It's just I just have to say his name, and that's enough justification because we don't have time to sit here and like run down all of his accomplishments. Obviously,
I'd put him in the same category as Hishimura. Like I say, the Great Muta, so much influence on the strong style, so much influence in the New Japan scene. What else can you say about the Great Muta? Really, like,
yeah.
yeah, he's still
Without
around.
Muta,
Like he still makes appearances today in AEW.
without Muta, we don't have Asuka because
True
Asuka.
that.
I've said this for the longest time. I think Muta or Asuka is this generation's Great Muta, as far as just her style, the way she approaches things. It's the face paint, the just how she conducts herself. It very similar, very similar. She's the female version of Muta.
I can agree with that. Shout out to Oscar, by the way. She's doing great work at the moment.
Oh, she did amazing. She did amazing on Saturday.
She's killing it. She's absolutely killing it at the minute. Like she is just as interesting now. Like that, she hasn't been this interesting since NXT. That's all I'm gonna say.
Have you noticed her centipede keeps getting bigger and bigger each week? That
Yeah, yeah.
number 5. I thought this person would be number 1. If I'm being completely honest with you,
Okay.
it was the face of WWE, the arch villain of WCW. He is the immortal one, Hulk Hogan. He comes in at number 5.
Wow. That is pretty low. It's like what I was saying before about Mick. I would have put Hogan at 1, Mick at 2. I mean, 1990 to 1999, Hogan in WWE from like WrestleMania 6 to 9, and then WCW NWO. NWO is literally the biggest faction who people have been trying to emulate ever since. I don't know how this guy is at number 1.
I mean, yeah.
What else can you say?
He's easily the most loved and the most hated man in professional wrestling at the same time. Like
Companies have literally been trying to make a Hulk Hogan to carry their company since Hulk Hogan.
I mean, they even did it when Hogan was there with Sid Justice, and that didn't work.
Yeah.
But yeah, number 5.
Wow.
Number
Wow.
4. This is I'm okay, I guess, with this. The Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels at number 4.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what? And this is bad on me. I completely forgot about Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels probably should be there. Definitely influential. How many people credit Shawn Michaels for the influence or the inspiration for getting him into the company? All the great matches that he had that inspired people to start wrestling. Top 5 for sure for Shawn Michaels.
I mean,
And
let's be honest, and I'm pulling this from Cody. We've talked about this a couple weeks ago. Without Shawn, and again, Cody knows exactly where I'm going to say. Without Shawn, we don't have half the roster in AEW.
yep, I would dare to say, and WWE.
You just don't. And I like him. The Rockers. I'm perfect example. The Rockers were the Young Bucks before the Young Bucks were the Young Bucks. Period.
They were indeed, especially that coward Marty Jannetty.
Yeah. What an act of cowardice. He just jumped through that goddamn window. Number 3. I don't mind this one.
Right. I'm worried.
If you smell what The Rock is cooking. The Rock. Dwayne The Rock Johnson at 3. I don't mind it.
I don't mind it either. But let me ask you something before you give your thoughts, right? Does The Rock belong? Like, does he deserve a higher spot than Hogan and Michaels?
I would put Rock at 5, I think, and then I would slide Rock down to 5 and Michaels and Hogan up to 3 and 4 or whatever. It's going to be interesting to see who they give the 1 and 2 spots to.
Yeah, because I mean, let's be honest. We haven't seen Austin on this list yet. You know, Austin's going to be there.
If he's not one at this point, this list has officially become invalid. If he's not one.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just.
I can understand why you would put The Rock in the top 5. I would put him at number 5 personally, but yeah.
Number 2.
Oh, I'm worried. I'm worried.
I don't know this person.
Oh, okay. Go on.
Manami Toyota.
Manami Toyota. Oh, so I don't know much about him either.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce his name either.
It's a woman.
Again,
it's a female.
Is it? Right, okay. I mean, yeah. I'm just gonna say, yeah. I know her name. I don't know. I've never seen any of her matches, but just like what we were saying before, I know her name because of wrestlers saying, you know, how much of an influence she is in the that part of the world in terms of, like, you know, that style of wrestling. What does the description about her say?
It just says she was a dominant Joshi wrestling icon. Her win-loss record in the 90s, 876 wins, 591 losses, and 43 draws. She was AJW champion.
Wow. Okay. All Japan shout out. 800 wins and 500 losses. Jesus. That goes to show you, though, that she wasn't selfish when it come to putting other people over, though.
Brother.
She did the job, brother. That worked for her.
Number 1. Thank you, Sportster, for answering my prayers. It is, in fact, Stone Cold. It's Stone Cold! Stone Cold!
It had to be Austin, right? It definitely had to be Austin. And I'm going to ask you this question again. Does Stone Cold Steve Austin deserve to be higher than The Rock, Shawn Michaels, and Hulk Hogan? Would you say?
I think he's more important to the 90s.
Yeah.
I think as far as importance, I think he's more important. Because without Stone Cold, we don't get the character of Vince McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get that moment at WrestleMania 13 with Brett and Stone Cold. We don't get the iconic Austin 316 says I just whooped your ass. We don't get those moments. We get, I don't know what we would end up getting.
It would definitely be a monumental sized hole in the 90s without Austin. And we might not be here right now without Stone Cold Steve Austin. We would not be here if it wasn't for the Vince McMahon and Stone Cold Steve Austin rivalry. I can tell you that for sure. I don't think The Rock has a guy to go up against as good as Stone Cold if he isn't there.
The only other guy that would, as far as when I look back at Rocky's like feuds and stuff, the only other guy outside of Stone Cold that could hold a candle to the rivalry for Rocky is, in my opinion, Triple H. I think
Yeah.
their series of matches were amazing. Their stuff was just incredible.
Yeah, I can agree with that. When it comes to Steve Austin, he's a moment in time, and he went through quite a lot of phases as Stone Cold, not just his his merchandise, but just everything that he did in the 90s screamed influence. Like I say, you can say the same that I said about Hulk Hogan, and you could refer it to Austin. Companies have been trying to find a Austin to carry their companies since Stone Cold, to sell the merch that he sells, to be as popular with the fans as he was, to be as influential in the ring as Austin was, to have those iconic rivalries as he did. And it's hard to catch lightning in a bottle twice. And the Attitude Era was lightning in a bottle. Lightning in a bottle meaning Austin was the guy, but he also had the other people in this list to go up against, like you Bret Harts, you Rocks, you Shawn Michaels.
Absolutely.
So I would agree with that. And I tell you what, like I've been holding this in for this whole like top 10. If you were looking at this from a pure wrestling standpoint, there is a glaring name missing out of this. I would even put him in the top 10, definitely. There is a glaring name missing from this.
I have somebody in my mind that I think you're gonna say, because I just have a feeling you're thinking that your all-time favorite wrestler should be in it, Chris Jericho.
Oh, do you know what? No, I wasn't going to say him, but you are right. Jericho, I'm surprised he isn't mentioned in the top 20. But do you know who? I've got two people who I was thinking of. And those two people, the first one I'm going to say Bam Bam Bigelow.
Okay.
And the second person, more importantly, Vader. Where the hell's Vader? He was literally one of the very first big men who was dangerous, could do the high flying, who wasn't just a bumbling, wobbling idiot who had to just like kind of, lumber across the ring. Vader changed the game for big men, and so did Bam Bam Bigelow. Where the hell are they in the top 20?
Well, 21 is Scott Hall, just so you know.
Oh, that's rough.
Owen Hart comes in at 23. Kevin Nash, 24.
Kevin Nash should be higher.
Kane's at 25.
Okay.
Triple H at 27.
Oh, that's pretty rough on Triple H.
28 is Big Van Vader. 28.
Yeah, I would move him down to the 20s. Like, look at the amount of big men who he's inspired, mate. And you talk about Japan wrestling as well. He was one of the very first gaijins to go in Japan and make a big impact.
Number 30, Eddie Guerrero.
Again, that's rough on Eddie. Eddie had a very iconic career in WCW. And when he was Tiger Mask as well.
32 is stable.
Okay. I'll just leave it there.
33 is Y2J, Chris Jericho at 33.
I would bring him down a little bit.
Bull Nakano at 34.
That's a criminal. She should be top 20.
Yokozuna, 36.
Yeah, I would keep him there.
39, Booker T. That silver spoon mother. Number 40, Scott Steiner.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I mentioned this gentleman earlier because he was going to be the next Hulk Hogan in the 90s. Number 42 is Sid Vicious or Sid Justice or Psycho Sid or whatever.
Another example of a big man who was very charismatic in his own way. I would honestly bring him down to the 30s.
This one, 43. Antonio Inoki at 43.
That's criminal, dude. Yeah, I think he
Yeah.
should be in the 20s.
At least the top 30. At least.
Yeah. That's crazy that Inoki's there. I can't believe that.
47 is another luchador that I totally forgot earlier when we were talking about. We could do a whole luchador episode. Number 47, Psychosis.
Oh, dude, Psychosis. Part of one of my favorite rivalries in wrestling history, Psychosis and Rey Mysterio in ECW. Fantastic set of matches. They were doing stuff that I have never seen since. Like they broke the mold when it came to that rivalry.
And then of course 48 is Jeff Hardy. So
poor Matt. I bet Matt was at 49. Yes.
He wants to delete.
You beat me to it. I was gonna say he must have been deleted.
Well, no, he wants to delete this list.
Oh, I would as well. Yes.
Yes. Oh. So,
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Yes. So that's the list for this week, guys.
Let us know what you think in the comments.
Let us know what you want, like maybe a list that you want Rhys and I to tackle ourselves, put together. We're always open for suggestions, and they honestly don't even have to be like I prefer wrestling related, but you can throw a list in there if you want to talk about something else.
Anything, dude. I'll make a list of anything. I'll do anything.
So
I love a good list. I love writing it down. Like you give me a top 10 and I'll do it.
So again, guys, Matt the Duelist, Cody, thanks for stopping by, showing your support. Much love to both of you guys. Again, I don't say this very often, Rhys. I sent you a message last week. This kind of like this show gives me a chance to like not focus on the shit show that is the world around us, right? And,
hell yeah.
And that's a mess. And I say that, but I mean my life's great. And I don't want to like pat myself too hard on the back. It's okay. Without being too crazy, next week I'm going to be like on high emotion, because it would next to Wednesday it marks the 2-year anniversary of my mom's passing, and it's that next week's going to be really rough. So I love
disappointing, man.
it. I love this hour that we just kind of shoot the shit and get the job done and have a lot of fun. And this was the fastest hour I've ever had in my life because we're sitting at 59 minutes right now.
That's crazy, dude. It doesn't even feel like an hour is gone.
Yeah, it feels like we just powered this thing up.
Yeah.
That's how fun this thing is, man. So Matt the Duelist, the top 10 foods.
Top 10 foods. I'll do a top 10 foods. I tell you what, we could fly through that on one of these episodes.
I mean, a slider might be part of that top 10. You never know.
I'll get a taco just for you, Matt.
Yeah, just for you. We'll throw tacos in the honorable mention, even though I would probably put them in the top 5. Anyway,
not even coming from a joking, ironic point of view. I would generally probably put a burrito in my top 10. So
a
yeah,
quesadilla.
dude.
A quesadilla.
Oh yeah, hell yeah! I'm not even joking. I would, yeah, that's definitely a consideration. But I digress. Sorry, Matt. Carry on.
So and again, my brother joins in and he says, who are the top 10 marks? Well, I mean, obviously you are.
You got to be number one.
Yeah. So what do you got anything to say to him before we leave?
Do you know what? I'm going to be nice this week and say, thanks for hiring us, you fucking Mark.